Ready. Play.
Hello, and a very good evening to all. Thanks for joining us on what's been another eventful day in the French capital, Paris, at Roland Garros. It's been a busy day. I don't know if you guys have just come off the Holger Runa epic. I managed to catch the end of that. That one looked like a fun match. We have another one in store. Really looking forward to this one. Managed to catch both players on Saturday as they came through their last 16 match. It is Zverev versus Grigor Dimitrov, Alexander Zverev. Zverev with a 3-1 winning record over the Bulgarian, but watching the Bulgarian against Daniel Altmaier on Saturday evening, he looked, and I tweeted at the time, he looked as good as I had seen him in a very, very long time. The forehand was working, the backhand slice was working. And on the same evening, I also tweeted as Zverev came through against Francis Tiafoe. For me, there's still something a little bit missing from Alexander Zverev in terms of aggression. They look very passive. I think both of the players were out of steam towards the end of that one. So I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit. And, this is what we're all here to do, is debate, disagree, and deliberate. I'm going to go out on a limb and go with Dimitrov in 4 in this one. And I know a lot of you may, and you're welcome to disagree. I said many a time, I'm a thick-skinned boy. I can take any pushback. So, and that's what I'm here to do. So, Dimitrov in 4 for me. Just thought the guy looked really, really accomplished in the last 16 against Altmaier. But Zverev, has done well. As I mentioned that Zverev had won, but there was still just something a little bit missing last year. The injury in the semi-final against Nadal, but he was just powering opponents off the court. And for me, there's still a little bit missing, but I'm here to be proved wrong. I'm here to be knocked off my high horse after a decent prediction start the last couple of times I've been on here. So get involved as always at the usual. Get subscribing if this is the first time you have joined us. You can subscribe here by hitting the subscribe button and get following this growing tennis community. The match itself, of course, is on the Philippe Chatrier court, the main court at Roland Garros. And of course, the court where Zverev had his injury. It was a year ago yesterday as the match against Tiafoe tipped into the new day late at night. So it was exactly a year since that ankle injury that ended Zverev's run last year. The players are just finishing their warm-up at the moment. I'll keep you as up to date as possible with the action, and I'll try and describe it as possible. Hello to Sport and Politics is the only name I can give you, because that's the only name I have. But hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for contributing. Let's get a discussion on tennis as Dimitrov is to serve in this one. Could be a long one. We could be here for a couple hours. So get yourself a beer, a whiskey, a wine, and settle in and enjoy this Monday evening of sport and another day that has been pretty eventful. Loads of talking points, and we will go through them as this match progresses. Not a great start for Grigor Dimitrov. He has just made a double fault, put his second serve halfway up the net. So maybe needed a little bit more time to warm up. But his third serve of the match so far still doesn't make the service box as he hits the net again. So he's loading up a second serve. And already two double faults to start the match for Dimitrov. Not a great start, not a good start to any match. I said that he was accomplished on Saturday evening in a match that I've got to be honest, pre-match, I thought Daniel Altmaier would have had the better of him. But two double faults to start off this match for Dimitrov. He tries again. he's hit a let in that occasion. At least he found the service box. He took the tourist route to it, but he found it. And yeah, so he's trying again to get his first serve, which is in this time. His very first return of the match. Leaves it short, well short. And Dimitrov, that forehand, as I mentioned earlier on, he pulverised it into the far corner of the court. And he has got a point back on Zverev. It's 15-30. He'll be trying to keep these rallies as short as possible, I'd imagine, with Grigor Dimitrov, because, you know, the ground strokes of Zverev are still very dangerous. This time he gets a first serve in. It's down the court by Zverev. Cross court this time, forehand by Zverev. Forehand by Dimitrov up the court. That looked edgy. And he's gone long with the second forehand. A nervy start by Dimitrov. And Zverev will be absolutely loving this start. He's not had to do much to get himself 3 break points and get himself an early lead on this main match here on the Philippe Chatrier court. Of course, there is another match on this evening. It starts near at 8 o'clock. And I'll let you know that just as Grigor Dimitrov serves another fault. Echeverry tonight versus Yoshito Nishioka, and I'll be keeping you up to date with exactly what's going on in that one, as second serve is in. Cross-court forehand by Zverev, cross-court forehand back by Dimitrov, this time a slice backhand by Dimitrov, backhand by Zverev, cross-court. Players are just playing it, both cross-court, backhand to forehand, this time a Dimitrov slice backhand, and it's got long. He's not found his range again. He has put 2 long, 2 double faults. Zverev didn't really have to do a lot to win that match, and he's already broken serve. But this one's still very early on, but hasn't broken sweat yet. Zverev in his black shirt and red shorts as he was wearing in the previous round, and Dimitrov with his new Lacoste steel in white and green as he settles into now return. Throughout the match, I'll give you a little bit of statage. Anyone who's listened to me before knows that I like a wee bit of info to go along the tie. So we'll talk numbers and history and records as we go through this one as well. But it's now Zverev to serve 1-0 up, and yeah, all good. A good start for him. Well, I say that, but he still also can't find the service box in the first serve. And, you know, I think serve will matter in this match. I know it sometimes does with Zverev. Of course, famous for, you know, forgetting he's got a second serve and just going for it. As the players are now rallying, forehand to forehand. It's now Zverev with a backhand cross court. Dimitrov forehand cross court. And he finds the net after Zverev had got it back across the net with a forehand. Just a little bit slow for the Dimitrov fans. But, you know, as in every 5-setter, there'll be peaks and lulls by both players, momentum shifts. And, of course, that's why we do love this game. Zverev 15 love up. Serving closest to the camera, up court effectively. Perhaps a noise has put him off his rhythm there. Of course, let's get 10 likes as soon as possible. Come on, guys. Give me a bit of love. As Zverev puts a wide of the tram lines, and it is a second serve. Both players struggling in serves. I would imagine the first service stats will be way down. I know it's very, very early, but it's been a sluggish by both players. And Zverev now with the double faults. Anyone who's got a wager on 10 plus double faults, you've had 3 in the first game and a half, and 1 for Zverev, 2 for Dimitrov. I don't know. It won't be the occasion. Both players, you know, be in similar situations throughout their careers, but it's 5-minute old, and we have 3 double faults. Zverev this time, first serve in. Dimitrov can only find the net, 30-15. And not high quality, it's got to be said so far, but that'll come. And so, Cirendulo, John putting me under pressure to try and read Spanish. But it's something about deporting the country. Is it here, deport, or deporting here, leaving here? Somebody can correct me and laugh at my Spanish. I think this is leaving here, sad emoji, sad face emoji. So yeah, what a sport. That's not what that says, is it? Okay, cool. Nice one. Right, I'm going to have to wise up in my South American Spanish. What a sport. It was a cruel end. Of course, Holger Runa looked pretty shot in the fourth set, should I say. And Zverev wins the game, served down the tee, non-returnable by Dimitrov, and it's a 2-love lead for the German. Of course, yeah, Surrendulo, very, again, momentum shifting match. Didn't catch it all, had a bit of a read and look at the stats afterwards. And Holger Rune, I think a lot of people on Twitter saying that the Holger Rune looked like he'd basically, tanked the fourth set. I don't know if anyone has any comment on that or can elaborate a little bit on that, but I know he lost at 6-1. Looked as if he was, as he often does in his matches, and that's got to be a concern for Holger Rune fans as he goes forward. If he wants to win Grand Slams, he needs to be able to, compete a 5-set match, which of course he did today for the first time. Many people saying across social media that he tanked the fourth set in order to concentrate on the fifth, which of course he came through eventually, serving for it at 5-4. Surrendulo breaks back. I think maybe Surrendulo may be referring to a slice volley at the net by Runa, which just dropped the ball dead, and both players had a smile right at the end of the match, which got him a bit of breathing space. As we go back to the match, hello Ghost, hello KC, welcome to tonight's events. Let's have some fun, let's have some chatter. Dimitrov now serving, he's 30-love up. Both players, it's a little bit edgy, I've got to be honest. Anyone who is watching on live or listening to me, both players, it's not high quality as yet. A lot of unforced errors. Hopefully the game will settle, the match will settle pretty soon, as both players, know that what's at stake, her last 8th place, and we've got some mouth-watering ties. Dimitrov just gets away with not having a third double fault off the match. It clipped the top of the net, and gladly for him, lands in the service box. He goes again, second serve, forehand return by Zverev. Dimitrov backhand right at Zverev, backhand again, not over the net. And this is a far cry from the quality the Bulgarian had in his last round against Daniel Altmaier. Started very quickly, broke the Altmaier serve very early, and it's just not been the same intensity as yet for the Bulgarian. Of course, 31 now, early in his career, baby fed, as he's well known, which he has said, put a little bit more expectation on him as a young man. And Zverev with the first winner I can remember of the match so far. We're 2 games deep to bring it up to 30 all. It was a short rally, but Zverev, short ball, actually, looping short ball, not enough action on it by Dimitrov, and a running forehand winner into the corner by Alexander Zverev. It's 30 all. And hello, Ghibli. Am I saying that right? I hate seeing all these handles because it just puts pressure on me to get the pronunciation of each of your handles correct. And I know one slip up in this could have consequences for my reputation, shall we say. It's 40-30. Dimitrov, he won the last point. Just going to put up, John's kindly done that for me. A good question by Ghibli. Is Zverev actually playing top drawer tennis or just better tennis against less good clay court players? Not sure Dimitrov will be the one to test it, but I hope he does. That was my point. Ghibli, if you've just joined us, that was my point in an earlier tweet from Saturday night. Great working there with the producer. That was my point on Saturday night. I made the exact same point you're making. Is he actually playing? Is he back? I saw somebody tweeting that if he beat Tiafoe, does that mean that Zverev is back? And for me, no. Just I mentioned there was a lot of passive energy coming from Sascha. Both players really, but I think if Tiafoe didn't look so exhausted. I think most players playing in the last 16 match could have seen an opening against Zverev and put him out the event. As Dimitrov has another double fault at deuce to set up a Zverev break point. Not going well for the Bulgarian. And I've got to say, it would be very easy commentary to say maybe the last round has taken it out of Dimitrov, but he just looks so comfortable. I know that Altmaier is a player who doesn't give in easily and he'll fight to the end of the match, but you just never had much doubt that Dimitrov was going to win it. So the serve has let him down so far, as has his range, but this time he finds a first serve. Both players managing to get it over the net on this occasion. Backhand by Zverev up the court. Corner forehand into it by Zverev. What a winner. He has double breaked it. He has got the double break. And yeah, Ghibli, that's exactly my point. I can't see, I said it would be lazy commentary if I was to say that Dimitrov could be tired after that Altmaier match. For me, it was fairly comfortable. I think it was 6-1 in the final set, or maybe 6-2, but I think it was 6-1. No, it was 6-2 because Altmaier broke just when he was 7 for it the first time. Oh no, because then he broke again, so it was 6-1. So yeah, no, I agree with you, Ghibli. I'm liking Ghibli. We seem to agree on a lot of things. The players in the other match are now coming out onto court, onto the Suzanne Langlen court, and that is, of course, Thomas Echeverry versus Nishioka. I'm not going to try and say his surname. Yoshito. I always get that one messed up. The Japanese ones are hard for a Scotsman, I've got to admit. So 3-love to Alexander Zverev. Really fast start, really slow start. I agree. I'll pull up this from Ghibli again. Absolutely nailing the questions and the talking points so far. Runa. He's obviously got massive legs in terms of muscle. They stand out when you watch him play. Now I don't know if it's maybe a cardio thing, but he just always goes through a point in the match, and even in the 3-setters, against Monte Carlo and in the Masters events, he sometimes goes through a wee period, and whether or not it's a sportsmanship thing, a tactical thing, that could be up for debate as well. But yeah, we've got a mouth-watering tie between Runa and Ruud, of course. A repeat of last year, where there was obviously a bit of niggle, which they seemed to put behind them earlier on in the clay court season. But yeah, that one over 5 sets is one that, and no matter what I'll be doing, I'll try and make sure that I'm watching as the players in this one. Back to the action. Sliced backhand by Dimitrov. He seems to be, looking more comfortable now. As this is certainly one of the longer rallies. Backhand slice again. Forehand up the line by Zverev. He's looking good so far. Backhand across court by Zverev. This time a forehand up the line. Sliced backhand by Dimitrov. Again, back by slice again. Forehand, is it a winner? It is forehand by Zverev. He's got his range in, he's finding angles. And we have, and now I don't even know who this is, but we have a surprise guest incoming. It is Isabelle. How are you doing, Isabelle?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I wasn't aware you were joining, so it's a pleasant surprise. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I just got home, just turned on the match.
Good.
I'm ready.
So you are you with me for the duration, or are you?
Believe so.
Good. Well, good to have you. I don't know how much you've heard of what we've been chatting about so far. Just a variation of things. I'll just quickly navigate through this game, and then we can catch up. As Zverev sliced second serve into the court, returned by Dimitrov, and Zverev finds the net with a forehand. So how was it California? Is it? How's California?
It is cold and raining today,
which
I know seems like a surprise.
Yes, it certainly does. Considering I don't know when the last time, genuinely, in the west of Scotland, Glasgow, we've had this long a run of like blue skies, no clouds and hot weather. It's honestly been about 2 weeks now, and as the old Scottish trait goes, now people are starting to complain that it's too warm, too hot. You can't please anyone. As Dimitrov, what happened there? I think Zverev is just, he's just hit a drop shot when Dimitrov was on the back foot. And it's 40-15. He's going to take a 4-love lead, and this can be a pretty prompt first set if things keep going this way. It's not an ace, nearly an ace down the tee, but it was just a little long. So, what have you managed to catch up on today, then, Isabelle? Anything exciting, or you've been out and about?
I've been out running errands this morning, but I did listen to the first 3 sets of Holger's match.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And I kept an eye on the tie break while that was happening in the 5th set. It looked very stressful from where I was sitting.
Yeah. I only caught the tail end of that one as well, like the end of the 5th set. So, but yeah, it's it just looked like a struggle for both players towards. I think they were both, again, these 5-setters are quite grueling, aren't they?
Yeah, I was really surprised that Runa managed to win, though, because it seemed like he really had just given up during the 4th set.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I felt the same. I didn't think he was actually going to come through it, and then I'm thinking, right, will Surundolo win against Rude? I was already kind of thinking about the quarterfinal. So yeah, I agree. As on this one, we have 0-4 in favour of Alexander Zverev. Now Dimitrov serving to try and get himself on the scoreboard, but he's just went long with a sliced backhand. Not looking good for Dimitrov so far. Did you watch any of his previous rounds match?
Yeah, I watched Zverev and Tiafoe, but I haven't seen any of Dimitrov's matches so far.
Yeah, I caught. Well, I think I caught up with the Dimitrov match. I was on that one before, whilst the Zverev match was starting on Saturday night, and got to be honest, I said at the time I thought Dimitrov looked as comfortable and as good as I'd seen him in a long time. But this is just an absolute, night and day performance so far. As he serves down the tee, and Zverev can only go wide with his return. So yeah, I mean, I called this, much to my foolishness, I called this in Dimitrov's favour in 4. I did say I was going out on a limb, but I seem to be, poor at these. So have you got any kind of thoughts, Isabelle, on where you think this one's going, especially with the start?
I thought, as soon as I saw the matchup, I thought it would be Zverev in 3.
Yeah.
But it's leaning towards me right now.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know. It could change.
No, you're right. As Dimitrov, probably his best point of the match, he forced Zverev to be on the defence from all angles of the court, and eventually put it away with a smash, basically a smash at the net. Yeah, no, I was asking this earlier on, and we've had a couple of discussions about it. Do you think Zverev 2022 Zverev, 2023 Zverev? Do you think there's the same, talent there? Do you think there's the same game that he's playing at the moment?
I haven't really been watching him much. He's not someone I like to keep a close eye on for unnamed reasons, and. But he seems a little less volatile on court this year. I mean, in terms of mental game, it seems he's a little more steady. But in terms of physicality, I don't really know how he's changed since the injury.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned, and I think Ghibli, who's on the chat, had said similar, that I just didn't see the same amount of aggression. I just think that last year, he did look at one point for me as if he could, go on to win it and beat Nadal. Even I know that he was losing a set down when he was injured, but that match was still very much anyone up for grabs. Of course, like 3 hours after 2 sets. I just thought that he was very passive against Tiafoe. I just thought both players looked pretty tired, pretty shattered in that one. But somebody who maybe was feeling a little bit fitter could have put Zverev away in that last game. I've been wrong once, many times, but I've been wrong many times in this tournament so far. As Zverev just plays a lovely drop shot, pushing Dimitrov back with his ground strokes, and it's just at the moment. He's got a chance. There's still a bit to go to attain it, but he's got a chance of a bagel. There's the dogs again. How are the dogs doing? What are the dogs called again?
Harpo and Pad.
Harpo and Pad. I don't think I asked you that last time, which was rude of me. So apologies for that. As they play, forehand by Dimitrov, backhand this time by Dimitrov, forehand cross court by Zverev, and again Dimitrov this time sliced backhand up the court, cross court by Zverev. He's really wanting this bagel as it goes backhand sliced by Dimitrov. He's continuously doing that. He's tried to be a drop shot. Zverev has got it back, but Dimitrov puts it away. Good point by both, and it is advantage to Grigor Dimitrov. What are the chats saying? What made you laugh there, Isabelle? What was going on? I missed it.
I was just laughing at the Harpo is a Holger fan.
Right. Okay. I thought that.
Which I would not agree with. There are no Holger fans in this house.
No. Okay. Do you think sometimes it's a bit tactical, a bit gamesmanship with Holger Runa? Like, in terms of, sometimes he thinks he's injured. I think there was a time he took a medical time out, and then can't remember the match, and then all of a sudden, I think it was actually against Casper Ruud in the semi-finals, where he took a medical time out, came back and started playing his better tennis. Do you think sometimes it's just to try and disrupt his opponent's momentum, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. I think that it's an old trick. A lot of the players, especially the younger players, do that kind of thing. Especially like with medical timeouts or with really long bathroom breaks. I mean, I don't think we'll ever forget the Tsitsipas bathroom break drama.
Yeah.
I've always thought that about Djokovic too. I don't think he does it as like a trick, but I've always noticed that when he's down in a match, he'll take a bathroom break, come back, and suddenly he's a different player.
Yeah. You wonder what happens in that bathroom break.
Yeah. So I think for some of them it is definitely like a kind of a dirty tactical move.
Yeah.
Although I don't know about today's match with Rune. I heard, I think it was on Twitter or on the radio. Because I couldn't actually watch it. He was like feeling ill and dizzy during the fourth set.
Well, again, that is why we're on this discussion, because there was many believing he was purposely tanking that fourth set to set it up for the fifth. Because I don't believe he actually called for the trainer. I mean, again, I didn't catch it, so I might be incorrect, but I don't think he asked for a medical timeout. I don't think he asked for the physio, the trainer, and people were saying in between points he was just hardly hitting it back and just walking very quickly in between points. So there was a suspicion, and it's all a suspicion and allegation that he was tanking the fourth. We'll never know. He's never going to admit that, and we're never going to be able to prove otherwise. As we go into Zverev 7-4-1, Dimitrov finally on the scoreboard after coming through that last game. Looks like, as I've noticed a few times this tournament, the wind down at the Zverev end of the court. Well, maybe it was just a gust because it seems to have stopped already. So Zverev 15 love up, playing well, looking pretty confident, and they just backed that up with a down the tee ace to go 30 love in front. Of course, in the women's today, just earlier on, Isabelle, of course, Swiatek going through because of Serenko's retirement. Did you see that?
I didn't see it. I was listening to it as it happened.
Oh God, right, yeah. Okay. Of course, Serenko been hampered by injuries for much of her career. And I don't know, I saw it just very, very quickly before we came on air here. Even Swiatek looked a bit disappointed and sorry for the Ukrainians. So, of course, John's pulled up a tweet there. That's the fifth retirement of walkover in 11 tournaments this year. It just says, she did pretty well to get as far then as she did, I suppose. So yeah, thoughts on that, Isabelle, at all? We got any musings?
I don't know her career very well, so I don't know what health issues she might deal with. I heard when it was happening that she said her heart was racing and she felt like she couldn't breathe.
Right. Okay.
So to me, that sounded like either like a respiratory thing, because I know there's been stuff going around this Open. There's also been a really high pollen count. Allergies have been really bad, so it could have been something upper respiratory, or it could have been like some kind of like anxiety or panic attack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play through either of those things, so I don't blame her for pulling out before she maybe hurt herself.
Yeah, and of course, we had Elena Rybakina pulling out with what she called a fever. So maybe, you never know. There may be some sort of link. Again, I've got no way to prove. But it's just they share locker rooms. Something could be going about, as you mentioned, high pollen count. So yeah, it could well be linked. As Dimitrov goes into the net from a strong Zverev serve, couldn't get it back, 40-30 to the German to go 5-1 up and only be a game away from wrapping up the first set in this one. Anything else you saw over the weekend? Tom gave me, I had to shake my temper. This was so hot. I appreciate that, John. That's going to give me a big head. These headphones are going to be out to here. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. That I'm going all red, and it's not just been the sunshine in Scotland. As Zverev goes 5-1 in front. Do you need to get that phone, Isabelle? No. It's 5-1 in front to Zverev. I know you've only maybe just come into the match. You didn't see a lot of Dimitrov's match maybe the other night. I mentioned his forehand was pretty hot on Saturday evening, as well as Altmaier failing to grasp his sliced backhand. I think Zverev so far has managed to figure that one out. And also, I don't know if you saw the start of the match. He basically, Dimitrov served 2 double faults at the start and another one in his next service game. So do you see the I don't know why I'm getting laughed at by Tom. It might be my embarrassment to getting compliments. I'm not a very good compliment taker, Casey. So I don't really know how to handle them. Yeah, you've totally distracted me there. So we'll just go back to the tennis. As it's Dimitrov 15 love, second serve, short serve into the service box. Good backhand by Dimitrov. Not a good backhand. He put the second backhand into the tram lines, 15 all. I'm going to have a look at Dimitrov's service stats if I can, just to figure out exactly how bad it's been for him, because I haven't seen, for me, a lot of serves dropping. I'll try and see if I can pull up some.
Who else has he played in this tournament so far?
So he played Altmaier Rusevuri, I think he played, and I can't remember his first round match. I will pull up that right now though, because it's a very good question. So who has he played? Right, he has played Skatov in round 1, Rusevuri in round 2, and Daniel Altmaier in 4 in round 3. And funnily enough, he's making his 13th Roland Garros appearance, and this is the second time he has reached the 4th round. This is the only slam he's never reached further than this stage. So a lot riding on it for him, I suppose. Of course, Zverev loves a bit of Roland Garros, and he has reached the semi-finals, of course, in the past. So he'll be looking to continue that and properly prove the doubters wrong. Hello, Max, and hello, everyone else. I thank you all for joining us. We will try and focus on the tennis as much as possible, but sometimes we do get a little bit distracted, so please forgive us for that. As Zverev goes 6-1 in front, he does secure another break of serve there, 3 in the first set, 6-1, fairly easy for Zverev, and Dimitrov is going to have to change things up. Otherwise, it could be a fairly short evening. Isabelle, just maybe, I don't know, maybe give you a little, put you under pressure a little bit. I was going to ask you, you know, if this match goes on for just say another hour, probably going to raise the old, you know, the night session debate has been rumbling on for the last couple of years. Last year as well. So I just wondered, you know, your thoughts. There was a night match last night, of course, for the on the WTA side of things. So have you got any thoughts? You know, what in the debate, people saying that if it was a ladies' match, it could potentially be over within an hour, and then the night ticket, people didn't really get much for their buck. So any thoughts on that at all?
It's a weird argument to make. Like, well, that's why women can't play the night matches, because their matches are shorter, so people aren't getting enough for their money. Like, that's such a weird and kind of weak argument. Like,
yeah, it's probably the only argument against it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And it's just it just kind of further, to me, it just further demeans women's tennis as like, oh, not as good as men's tennis, or like not as difficult or something like that. So I do think it's kind of, it's unfair, and that men, for the most part, are the only ones playing the night matches. And I don't even think that people want to be sitting, you know, on these courts until like 1 or 2 in the morning. No, people don't. I don't know that people want that. I mean, I can barely watch that from home. It's hard for me, especially during a tournament that's like closer in time to me, like the US Open. They have the same problem. So I don't really think it's fair to make the players sit through that kind of torture, because they have to get up the next day and do it all again. So I really think they need some kind of players union to be working on this kind of stuff. I mean, if they had more women's matches in the evenings, then we would all be off court by maybe 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. And that would be better, I think, in general. So
I mean, you're right. I mean, in terms of I think that's the only argument they've made. And also, like, I think Zverev mentioned it after his win against Tiafoe. These players aren't just like, you know, finishing up and then, you know, heading to bed. They've got like a warm down to do. They've got press to do. So, you know, like it's still a good couple of hours before their head hits a pillow. So, I mean,
that match that Carlos, I think it was the Sinner and Alcaraz match at the US Open, like that went on until like 2-3 in the morning, and then Carlos like didn't even go to bed. Like he just was up again at 6. It was like that's so unhealthy.
No, you are correct. As just quickly on the other last 16 match that's currently being played, Tomasic Zverev is 3-2 up in a breakup on Nishioka. Of course, that is the I'm right in saying, actually, hold on, let me double check. That's who the winner of this would face. Of course, some good ties in the quarterfinal lineup. Some pretty kind of stop you in your track ties. Of course, you've got Alcaraz, Tsitsipas, Djokovic, Karen Khachanov, Runa Ruud, which, as I mentioned earlier, I'm especially looking forward to. I mean, arguably, I'd say this is probably the weaker side of the draw. Would you like the winner of this versus Echeverry Nishioka? Would you agree with that, Isabelle, at all?
It's maybe less. I don't know about less exciting, but the other half of the draw, it has more tension. I would say
there's more stories to them. I think there's more backstory, and you know, I think I've got to be honest. I think very early at the start of this event, this tournament, a few people would put it to me about how well Musetti could have done on the first day. I think it was. I was writing him off, saying I don't think he's in that top bracket of players. But I've got to be honest, as I settled down to it yesterday, I thought, you know what, he's got a chance here. I don't know where it came from, but that performance by Alcaraz was a kind of statement performance, wasn't it? Like, you know, proving any doubters about whether or not he can play in Roland Garros at all, because there have been a couple of questions. Basically, do the conditions suit him? Did you catch any of that? And if so, you know, did you have any? No. Okay,
no, I didn't. I haven't. The last couple of days, I haven't been able to stay up or wake up in time to watch it. And
Yeah.
even if I do, I just fall asleep immediately. So
Yeah.
I haven't been able to see many of the day matches.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the comments here, and John said that the night matches have been rubbish, and he's right. They've all been very, very boring.
Yeah.
Except for the Monfils match, which to me so far has been the match of the tournament.
Yeah.
They've all been pretty boring, pretty
Yeah,
standard stuff.
And a segue and transition that would be welcomed by all the great radio presenters and TV presenters all over the world. I was actually about to ask, what is your favourite match of the tournament so far? And I was going to put that out to the wider Talking Tennis community who are with us tonight. Anyone got any particular? Isabelle has started it off with the Monfils match. Anyone else got anything that would counter that? I was going to say Sinner Alkmaar was the longest men's match or the longest match of the event. That was a good one to watch. It depends what you're watching. Are you wanting back and forth, swinging and momentum tennis? Or are you wanting like an all-round performance? Like as I say, I really like the end of that Fritz match.
Which Fritz match?
The one where he beat, who did he beat again?
Was it the Frenchman?
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah. Oh, loved it. And I was totally behind him. The French crowd, of course, everyone, people say,
they're terrible.
Every crowd is the same. And, you can go back to maybe Melbourne with, Medvedev against Nadal with the whole crowd wanting Nadal and them, shouting in his second serve, etc. But for me, I don't know if you saw Kasatkina talking over the last 24 hours, how she was booed off court and it really kind of broke her heart. Did you see that at all?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she. So who is it that's the Ukrainian girl? I'm trying to find. John will be able to remind me who doesn't.
Was it Svitolina?
I think it was, yeah. And so she obviously doesn't want to shake hands, but they had a.
They had a little moment, yeah.
Yeah, and because, it was Svitolina, yeah, because Kasatkina hasn't shook her hand, the French crowd are on her back, booing her as she walked off court, and she put up a tweet, which I'm sure producer John will be hastily trying to find. See, I'm putting the pressure back on him a bit. So she put up a tweet basically saying that the heartbreaking thing for her, she loves France, she loves the people, but the way she left the French Open was a sore one, with a wee crying emoji, I think. So a shame, because I've noticed that, Djokovic once putting the ball, I think, up in the air when he made a mistake. Players questioning ball counts, which ball drops, ball markers, which they're obviously welcome to. They're rightly allowed to do. It seems to get a boo off the French crowd. Do you think the Paris crowd are any different than any all over the world? Or
I do find that when I'm watching, I do notice the French crowd a lot more than other tournaments in other countries. They are. I don't want to. I'm not trying to insult them as a nation, but I do find that the French Open is so mean to players. The crowds are often I hear this every year, somebody gets booed off court, some American gets, bad
is it the French American thing? Is it maybe a French American
or French Canadians? They're just mean. They get really riled up, especially if there's a French person playing like that. And I don't blame them for that, but I would go as far to say they are the worst crowd to play in front of if you're not French.
I'm going to play devil's advocate because obviously you as an American saying that, and you could go back to Daniel Medvedev, the famous, you made me win tonight, and he was obviously getting attacked in New York. So, I'm sure there'll be people out there who'll say, what are you talking about? The New York crowd, I'm sure New Yorkers
I don't think the New York crowd has ever made anyone cry.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Did you see the doubles incident yesterday?
I didn't see it, but I heard all about it. And saw the replays. And it seems like the debate has now turned to the winning team, and they're now saying that they were playing really unfairly by trying to push this default and laughing and smiling as it was happening, and bad sportsmanship in general. It sounds pretty contentious.
Yeah. I mean, I like, in my view, in my opinion, it's a slice thing, just putting the ball back. It's just unfortunate that the ball girl is like looking the other way while she's calling for another ball. If she's looking at the ball where it's coming from, she's catching that, no problem. It's just, a perfect storm, an unfortunate series of events. And that's a shame for all, because, the ball girl's crying, the players are crying. I wonder if they'll look at that and if the rule should stand as strict as it is.
I don't think it should. I mean, and I know that maybe there are some Djokovic fans who will come after me because I was very vocal when that default happened about how fair it was.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a rule that should take nuance into account. And there are so many players who do exactly what she did. They chip the ball back to the ball kid. And like, I watched it, and she didn't swing in anger. She wasn't trying to get any aggression out. She was just trying to she was following through on a swing. Like, that's what they all do.
Yeah.
Federer did that all the time.
Yeah. He was famous for it. Yeah.
So I do think that it was kind of an unfair call. Again, like something that if players had some kind of union to rep them, this kind of thing would be handled better, I think. And the fact that she has to give up all of her prize money, and especially in women's tennis, that is such a huge hit to take because they don't make as much money.
Yeah.
And having to forfeit all that is just so unreasonable. And now with all this coming to light of the other team, maybe not playing fair in that way, that just makes it worse. It's bad all around.
Yeah. Well, you never know, it might rumble on, but sometimes in tennis, the governing bodies, as you say, players' unions are important, but governing bodies are often quite slow to react to kind of fan sentiment. So we'll just watch this space and see what happens. Back to the tennis. I know we haven't really mentioned it in a while, but we're having such great tennis chat, so peace. Currently Zverev questioning a call, I think it is, with the umpire. It is 1-1, as you can see by the scoreboard, 30-all. So Dimitrov making this a little bit more competitive so far. Got to admit, my pre-match prediction looking a long way off. It would take 3 straight sets from Dimitrov, and even I'm laughing at that thought. So I know we've not really watched much, but I just wonder if Dimitrov is maybe trying something different as he tries a backhand, quite wild. The ball was bouncing up the way, which is always a harder shot to take on, and he could only find the corner of the net, not over. As Zverev goes 40-30 to get a game point to make it 2-1. Have you had a look at tomorrow's schedule? Do you want me to try and have a look at that and see what's happening?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I think there are some really good matches tomorrow. Obviously, first up is Alcaraz and Tsitsipas.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I was wishing for that one to be a night match because I work during the day. So
yeah, same.
So I'll not get to see that. So
yeah, I'm gonna try. I think it's on. I don't even know what time. Here, I think it'll probably be on at like 3 or 5 in the morning.
It's this time.
It is
tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant! I can actually watch it. I don't have to get up at crazy hours. 11 a.m. here is when it'll come on. Okay, so that's great. That should be a good match. I was kind of hoping they would meet as like a semifinal. A quarterfinal seems too early to have those two players go head to head. And I actually don't know their record against each other. Have they played each other much?
Yeah. They've played recently, I think, in Barcelona. It may have been straight sets final. That was Barcelona final.
Who won that?
Yeah, it was Alcaraz straight sets,
okay.
and it was pretty comfortable, to be honest, if I remember correctly. But I might be wrong, but I think it was fairly comfortable. So comfortable that Alcaraz was like dancing to like music in between the changeovers. And I think that might have been an event that the producer John was actually at, so he can obviously inform us of exactly what happened. But as mentioned, the Alcaraz Tsitsipas match will be live streamed here in terms of commentary. So, you know, as usual, get involved, get watching, get listening. We're at just on this Zverev serve. This game has gone for over 5 minutes, nearly 6 minutes now. Dimitrov obviously getting his range a little bit in. And Zverev has it's not a first serve. It will be a second serve, but he just went long with the first one. It's been fairly comfortable for Zverev so far. Hasn't had to do much to be in this position. As he loads up the second serve, goes wide with it. Good return by Dimitrov. Zverev somehow picks it up, tries the lob, makes the lob. Did he make the lob? I don't think he did. So it was a good return, good, decent serve, second serve. Dimitrov looking a bit pumped as he's got a break point. Decent second serve wide by Zverev. Great return, forehand return by Dimitrov, somehow picked up by Dimitrov. He comes to the net and then Zverev tries to go over him and goes long. So break point. And this would be a chance to you know, make a statement here that he's not out of this yet. First serve in, block return by Dimitrov, up the court by Zverev, back up the court, miss hit by Zverev, but it lands in the court, looping forehand by Dimitrov. This time now, slice backhand into the corner, spin all over that one. Backhand by Zverev, forehand by Dimitrov. They're just playing it middle of the court, and Dimitrov goes long eventually. He'll be annoyed at that one. Definitely an unforced error, and yeah, he looks a little bit disappointed. And that at 13 shots was that last rally. So, yeah, and the game still goes 7 minutes and 30 seconds long.
You know, I was thinking, and I actually have to correct myself.
Okay.
The U.S. Open New York crowd has made someone cry, now that I think about it. They were absolutely horrendous when Naomi Osaka won her first slam.
All right, because that was the whole Serena Gate.
That was the whole Serena situation, and they were absolutely terrible to Naomi, and Serena had to step in and be a mom essentially and tell them to quiet down. So now that I think about it, yes, the New York crowd was awful. So I mean, most tennis crowds are terrible.
Well, that was my point.
I guess is the point. They're all terrible. However, I think at the French Open, when a French person is playing, they are maybe the worst.
Yeah, well, that was my point. You know, tennis is a sport that can often be found guilty of, you know, whataboutery, as we can sometimes call it. And if we were just to basically label the French crowd as the worst, I'm sure somebody would basically go, what about this, or what about Australia, or what about New York? So that's why, you know, of course, Taylor Fritz all over social media. Afterwards, everyone was comparing Fritz to Medvedev in New York, and you know, getting into the heads of the French crowd. But you know, Medvedev, it was almost like a story arc of one of the American TV shows. He basically, by the end of it, he was a hero again after going 2 sets up on Nadal in that final before Nadal came back. So yeah, he managed to turn that around, and now he's loved pretty much most of the places he goes. Medvedev, even though he always seems to be having running battles with the crowd, I think he's still very much liked. Do you agree? Or
I haven't had my finger on the pulse of that, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I think they like a bit of a sass from the players. So.
Yeah. No, I just Medvedev's one of a kind, though, isn't he? Like, I think it was.
Yeah, he's grown on me. Even I didn't like him at first, but the last few tournaments I've seen him at, I'm kind of like, all right, I get it. I get why this is charming. So.
I think he's quite a witty guy. As Zverev, good first serve, wide block return by Dimitrov, put away by Zverev. Finally puts an end to that game. 2-1, and on we go. No break of serve as yet for Dimitrov. And what are they saying in the chat? I think Jack, did he?
Yes, he did. He did at one point. That was a high compliment.
And in what ways can you remember? In what way? What was happening?
Yeah, I play very flat and hard. So I can't get a lot of spin on the ball, but I can hit it very hard and very fast. So very similar in that way. I also play with a two-handed forehand, which no one plays with, and I don't recommend that for anyone. But
Right, okay.
but I'm pretty quick, so I can get to everything. But I don't have any finesse, so I think that's what he was comparing to Medvedev.
Okay.
Which
Well,
was
Jack
was very nice.
yeah, and of course Jack would know, 'cause obviously he coaches tennis as well. So so if Jack says it, then it can't be far wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, and he gave me some tennis lessons while I was in the UK, and he was very good. If anyone out there is looking for a tennis coach, Jack was great.
Right. Okay. Was that in Newlands in the south side of Glasgow?
Yeah.
I used to live not far from there, which made it all the more, surprising the first time I bumped into Jack on this. It was the fact that
Your neighbors.
Well, I don't live anymore, but I did play there a couple of times. Didn't bump into Jack at the time, or maybe I did and I didn't know him. But yeah, it's just a small world sometimes. What is happening on the chat? Anything? Where is the conversation going in the comments? Simply keeping us up to date with the musical choices of the Chatre DJ. And yeah,
I thought for a second they were talking about the horn players that keep showing up at the matches.
Oh yeah.
Crowd brass band, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the atmosphere can it can be fun at times.
I do love that. That was the first time I think I saw them during the Monfils match. This is the first time I saw people like show up with instruments, and I thought that was such a fun idea. I really loved it.
Yeah. No, it was. It was good. And and you're right. That's a part of that I remember from that night as well. As Dimitrov is there tail up, he's just put a serve down the tee, which Zverev could only find the net with the return. So he's looking a lot more comfortable. Seems to have found his serve a little bit. I'm going to try again to find some stats on the serve. Let's see if I can do it this way. Just on the first set, I want to see the Dimitrov first serve percentage, because it can't have been good in the first set, as he loads for a second serve this time, and his second serve is game over. I think a backhand down the line, brilliant shot. That's his shot of the match, is it? Did it go in? No, it didn't, because he's still got the ball in hand. Must have went long, so it's not his shot of the match. But it was looking good. I definitely, from what I'm viewing, Isabelle, I'm definitely seeing a little bit more signs of flash, a little bit more composure from Dimitrov compared to the first set. Can Dimitrov win this match? Can he turn it around? Can he win, 3 out of the next 4 sets?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't. No. I just don't. No, I don't think so.
And all the Grigor Dimitrov fans around the world cry into their dinner. Because
look, I don't want Zverev in this tournament as much as the next guy, but I just don't think Grigor is the guy who's gonna take him out. Yeah,
and before we know it, he's got a good chance. No matter who he faces in the quarterfinal, he'll be favourite if he does go on to win this. And all of a sudden we're looking at Zverev 12 months on from the ankle, back in the semi-finals. And a few people had asked again, did Zverev have a chance? I said pre-tournament that I thought he was starting to look like his old self. This tournament, I haven't been as impressed, bizarrely enough.
I don't think he's had much of a challenge yet. I think Francis gave him the most. I think that was the only set. That was the only set he's dropped so far this tournament. So I don't think he's really had that much of a challenging draw. I think after going forward from here, he'll have to show a bit more something on court.
Yeah.
But I think he had an easier draw than some of the other people.
Yeah, well, as this one's getting a little bit tougher for him as well, so he's not home and hosed yet. As Dimitrov wins the first point, but it was a decent rally by Dimitrov, who brought Zverev into the net and running wide, and he played it into an open, empty court. And it definitely looks like he's getting himself settled and more into this match. As a block return from the first serve of Zverev. Forehand, that's got a lot more whip to it. Again, up the line, Zverev gets it back with an even better shot. And Zverev has opened up the court now. Block, return, backhand, smash by Zverev, but it's up the court, and did he win it? It's gone long. Probably one of the points of the match there. Dimitrov dictating with the forehand, but it was just that running forehand return by Zverev that got him back into the point. And I thought Dimitrov had nicked it from the smash, but no, he did not. But yeah, good rally. That it's starting to heat up a little bit. 15-0 as he goes in. First serve here by Zverev, hits the net. So what is Ghibli saying? For the sake of the global game, I wouldn't mind seeing Nishioka or Echeverri in the semi. Runa and Ruud will definitely fancy it, but I think if Zverev did find his game, he'd fancy it. Yeah. I mean, pre-tournament, not a lot of people would have said that Zverev, he hasn't really made a final on the clay as yet since he's been back. He, has been playing arguably better each event. He loves the clay. Was playing so well last year before the injury. And as I mentioned, I think it might shock some people because Medvedev obviously went early. Medvedev's had his number over the last few ties. And as soon as Medvedev went out, I think because he was in that side of the draw, Zverev's got to have said, right, I can go far here. And it might have given him a boost to see his rival Medvedev exit. But he's down in this game. As you can see, 15-30. Another strong rally by both. Dimitrov coming into the net on the back of a forehand cross court. And Zverev on the run can only go long. 15-30. He's got a chance. He had a break point in the last service game. Of course, that game went about 8 or 9 minutes. So he's definitely making a little bit more of a mark on the Zverev serve.
Just checking in with the other fourth round match, Echeverri and Nishioka. It's actually the more interesting match going on at the minute.
Okay, what's happening?
It is 6-5 to Nishioka.
Yeah.
Echeverri's serve, so they're probably going to head to a first set tie break in a minute.
Well, on that, Echeverri had a break in that. He was, I think he was 2-0, 2-love and 3-2 up at one point. So I don't know when Nishioka has broken back, but he certainly has done that. Grigor Dimitrov, by the way, has just hit a cross-court forehand winner into the corner, and he has 2 break points, as you can see by the scoreboard on your screen. And this is his chance as a backhand return from a first serve. Zverev down the court, back straight at Zverev, backhand slice. It's hit the top of the net. It slowed the ball down, but Zverev makes it. And Dimitrov has broken serve. Definitely, we have a match on now. Really good play by him. We've got some Grigor fans. I think the majority, I might go out on a limb here again and say the majority of the people in here tonight are Dimitrov, well, not Dimitrov fans, but want Dimitrov to win, I think. I know that you're one of them, Isabelle. So, but yeah, that was
to see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could. I mentioned at the start we could be here a while this evening.
It could be it could go either way. It could be another hour. It could be 4 hours. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's why I love this game.
Well, that's it. Yeah. You just never know. But it was really good play. He set up the point. He knew what he was doing. He had, he hit the net. Got a bit of luck. Hit the top of the net. But yeah, he makes the error, pushes the error from Zverev. A lot of go, Dimi, get in Grigor. Can we get Misha's very good point? No idea why Eurosport continue with that side of things. It's never going to be impartial, is it? So yeah, the headline of that, as you can see on your screen, pretty comfortable first set. Dimitrov a little bit all over the place, but he's now really much back into the match, and as a breakup in the second. Of course, Dimitrov is, of course, he's a former world number 3, I think he is. So he does have that talent in there. Would you say Dimitrov's career-wise, has been, probably not as fulfilled or as the potential as he maybe had as a younger guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's only ever made the semis of three out of the 4, right? Grand Slams.
Yeah.
That's pretty disappointing, I would say. But I think it's just he came up unlucky in a time when we had Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. There was just no room for anybody else.
Yeah. Do you think if those three went?
It's just unfortunate.
If those 3-4 players weren't on the scene, you think you maybe have got a Grand Slam in his career?
Maybe if just one of them had been on,
okay. Yeah.
he might have been able to. Although, I mean, there's always the one player that can break through that, like Del Potro or someone.
Yeah.
But or Andy Murray, obviously.
Yeah, I loved Del Potro. I loved him. He was a good watch.
Loved him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know his game really well. I know that he was always called like baby fed because his style was very similar. But it's possible that he just didn't have the same kind of weaponry that the other 3 guys had, and that just consistency as well. Like just not.
That's what separates these guys, though. I mean, their mentality and just the fact that they can do it every week. And there's not many players. You're talking probably about 0.5% of players in history can do that. Just to mention, it's definitely Zverev dictating things. He's biting back here. He had a winner to go love 15, and he's forced an error from Dimitrov in the 0.2. But he definitely looks to have that changeover. Well, I say that, and he just went long, as is the beauty of live commentary. But he was looking good in those first 2 points. It's 15-30 now. But
the Echeverria Nishioka matches in the tie break currently.
Okay.
It's 2-1. I am trying to find a stream of that so I can keep an eye on it at the same time, but it doesn't.
That would be lovely.
Anywhere.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
With American broadcasting, it's not going to be anywhere. But I'm doing my best.
No, yeah. I'm sure. If you've mentioned what you mentioned before about sometimes they dipping in and out of matches, I'm sure you'll find something somewhere. Or you could even on Twitter, I suppose. I'm sure something will be updating it on live scores or TNNS. So as it's 15-40, Zverev has 2 break back points. Maybe getting a little ahead of myself. No less than 5 minutes ago by saying that Dimitrov was definitely back in. What isn't in doubt is the quality of the matches certainly went up a notch in this second set. As Dimitrov hits a backhand, saves 1 break point, cross-court backhand. Zverev can only net. Dimitrov, giving himself a bit of a pep talk, and it's 13-40. Ghibli telling us that Nishioka is a mini break ahead, but it might not mean much because of what he sees as fallacies in his serve. As Dimitrov rocks up 30-40, break point down, first serve and decent first serve, good return by Zverev, up the court forehand by Zverev, cross court forehand by Dimitrov, up the court forehand by Zverev, Dimitrov backhand, forehand by Zverev, sliced backhand by Dimitrov, it's up the court by Zverev, down, he's coming to the net, but Dimitrov makes it, and he got away with that one. You thought that by all accounts Zverev was in control of the point, favourite for the point in the break of serve, but Dimitrov is made of some steel here. Came into the net after Zverev had come in, and Zverev couldn't get it back over after a wide drop shot. Please, Ghibli, is this? I think he's talking about our match, our focus match. Yep, he's really hoping that Dimitrov doesn't get broken here. So he has just served a pretty decent wide serve. Zverev very wide on court, could only go long. He's got game point, and he's a game away. He's a point away from consolidating the break. I always say, there's no point in breaking serve if you can't hold your next game. So still very important. And you'd be surprised about how many times you watch tennis, and players break serve and then are broken almost straight away. So, he'll be chuffed with this one.
I'm going to step away for just a second.
Okay, no,
charger.
As it's a forehand to forehand battle at the moment by the two players. Cross-court backhand by Zverev, forehand back across the court by Dimitrov. Slice backhand down the line, and he has won the point. He punches the air, and he's fired up for this one now. He'll know it was a poor start, maybe not the best prep. I don't know, but poor start by Dimitrov. Slow start, broken 3 times in the first set, but certainly on top here in the second set. And Grigor for the title. I like that, Ghibli. I like that. I'd love it. You know something? I'm liking my Alcaraz these days. I like Holger Rune. I know that he's a very, as we call it, Bovril character here. But yes, he is. I'd love it. Dimitrov won this title. It's a long way to go. And Ghibli is updating us on that one as well. It's 15-love to Zverev, as we continue. It is so I don't know if you guys have seen the mention by John, our producer, but Jill Gross from the Tennis Channel will be on the Last Ball Drops on Wednesday night. The girl with 21,000 subscribers knows a lot about his tennis. So get involved here and get listening to that. It's a special guest there. Gil Gross from the Tennis Channel, a guy who knows a lot about his tennis. So yeah, nice one, John. Nice one, producer John. I'll certainly be tuning into that one. A lot of action on Wednesday. As we go back to this one, 15-all. And Ghibli is telling us that Echeverry's coming back, not swinging too badly. I don't know how that one's ended. Is that one still going on? Are we still in a tie break for the match? Sorry, for the first set. Trying to catch up with things. It's 5-4. No, it's not. There we go. It's 5-4, is it? So it's on serve. No more mini breaks. Back on serve. And that one. And in this one, we have 15-30 on the Zverev serve. You feel like, Dimitrov can smell a bit of blood here. And as Zverev goes into the tram lines with a forehand, he was trying an inside-out forehand there. He went into the tram lines. This is getting a little bit uncomfortable for Sascha Zverev, and he is looking very out of it at the moment. So here we go. 2 break points for Dimitrov. First serve in. Wrong foots him with the +1 shot, a forehand. Dimitrov making his way to the other side of the court. And Zverev wrong foots him. It's 30-40. Again, Racket Magazine's founder, Caitlin Thompson, will be on this evening on the Women's Review with Nick. So make sure you tune into that. Some big guests here at Talking Tennis. Some well-established. So
excited for that.
Yeah.
No, I love Caitlin.
Yeah, I saw it on the chat a little earlier. A coup, as you call it. So well done, producer John, for his work. I'll be tuning in as well later on. But it depends on when this match finishes and when the other one on the Lengland finishes. As both matches still very early. Any updates on the Echeverry Nishioka, Isabelle?
Yeah, I wasn't able to find a stream of it because I don't have Tennis Channel Plus. But the score right now is 6-5 to Echeverry. Kind of a tight tiebreak right now. I really wish I was able to see it.
Yeah.
It seems much more exciting.
Yeah,
althoh this match is getting better. I mean, 4-2.
Yeah, no, definitely. Dimitrov, Zverev was facing our third break point of this game, but he has just again served wide and plus one to the back of the court. And it seems like that match, Ghibli kindly giving us a little update on things. So just where at Zverev, he's had the battle in this game again. The momentum's definitely shifted in favour of the Bulgarian. As Zverev goes wide again, a fourth break point for Dimitrov. This will pretty much be set point. He'll have 2 breaks of serve and serving for it. So did we see John's message there a second ago? Pam Shriver unfortunately won't be joining us for this watch along. Sad face emoji. Well, I'm sure she'll be on soon enough. As Ghibli says, you can't work out how much of this is Grigor comeback and how much Zverev is basically struggling here. And I think that's been the kind of the theme throughout Zverev's match. We just don't know. It's just unpredictable.
Yeah.
Nobody's really pushed him. We thought maybe Dimitrov wouldn't push him as per his start. I'd love it if Dimitrov could push him and we can find out, what is Zverev made of in terms of his game. As we're back to deuce, Zverev saved a fourth break point of the match, of the game, sorry, and he serves down the tee, really good serve, block return, and put away angrily, it seems, by Zverev to set up game point and close the gap to just one game. And again, the beauty of this sport is he was facing to a 3-game deficit, but if he wins this point, he'll only just be the game behind. Still going on in the other match, first set. We still have the tie break. What is the point scorage in that one? 7-all. I'm getting it at.
Yes, 7-all.
7-all. We are on a second serve by Sascha Zverev. The match is an hour 13 long, as displayed by the clock just behind Zverev. And so the first set wasn't a second serve. Apologies for that. I missed it by checking up on the score. So it's second serve this time. T serve went too wide. Zverev stepped forward. No, he's still quite far back on the Zverev serve. T serve again. That'll be why he stepped back. But gets it back. Block return deep from forehand. Strong forehand by Dimitrov. Backed by Zverev in the backhand. Strong forehand again by Dimitrov. He's going to the Zverev backhand again. Slice backhand this time by Dimitrov. Pick up backhand by Zverev. It wins the point because Dimitrov can only find the net. He's starting to get a handle again on the Dimitrov sliced backhand. And he cuts the deficit to 1, but Dimitrov still with the break of serve advantage. I think this is a big game coming up, Isabelle. I hope you would agree, because, in terms of where this match is going, Dimitrov gets this to 5-3. He knows he's just a game away from tying the match up. Zverev breaks now, and it's just this momentum shift again. You could see him serving, going 5-4 up if he wins his next service game, and then, maybe nicking the next one to go 6-4 up, and the match is done pretty much as a contest. So, yeah, I'd say, in my opinion, that this is a big game coming up.
Yeah, I would agree.
John updating us, producer John updating us on his ice cream situation. Declined. That is an annoyance of me. Although I'll reverse that. If I've only got a couple of items at the supermarket and there's somebody in front, I feel awkward in asking if I can go quickly. So sometimes I just wait and just, I'll just wait for this woman to go through our shop. What are your shopping quirks, Isabelle?
I don't think I've ever asked if I can skip the queue. I didn't think that was something I could do.
So yeah, it's etiquette.
Line.
It's etiquette. So it's more, you don't really ask, but you kind of imply, you kind of hint, you give them a wee look. You go, I've only got I've only got some butter and some cheese, and you've got about 50 items. And it's usually the etiquette is the person in front should be, oh, do you want to go before me? And then you go, yeah, okay, no problem, because you're only going to be 20 seconds. But I believe John's experience is that it wasn't even offered. So poor show by the person in front of him.
Quick update on the other fourth round match. Zverev has taken the first set 10-8 in the tiebreak.
Big first serve. That one will that one could be a long one as well. So probably I don't understand John. I don't understand John's his dilemma, because it says Gill in front offered me the chance to skip. Oh, he declined.
Yes,
right,
he declined.
Right. Okay. See now. Okay. I got that scenario all wrong in my head. So
Gibbley, I appreciate your updating us.
Yes.
Excitedly on the other match.
It should free us up to concentrate on this one. It's Love 15, as you can see. Dimitrov has just about wild. Okay, so I'll talk you through very quickly that one. Dimitrov was well in command and control of that point to level up the game 15-all. He pushed Zverev back, a block return that was an easy enough volley, and Dimitrov just got a rush of blood to the head, went well wide with the volley, and he set up a dangerous situation for him in a game that I put just minutes ago the utmost importance on. Yes, dear me, Grigor. And I'm sure that will be something that Gibbley, he's saying to himself, dear me, Grigor, because that was an easy enough put away. So he serves now, second serve, even more pressure, a slice serve into Zverev's body. Zverev gets it back, backhand cross court deep, good forehand, strong forehand and has he caught the line? He looks like he's caught the line by the swagger. He hasn't caught the line. It was a mishit anyway, forehand. He had wrong-footed the German, but he has not caught the line. He's went wide with it. And, Gibbley, please don't stop watching. We need your help.
I need you over there on the other court to keep us updated.
So for the sake of Gibbley's chat, we need Dimitrov to break here. He's on a second serve. Odd return by Zverev, but he makes it. Sliced backhand by Dimitrov. Sliced backhand return by Zverev. Strong forehand, block return. He's left it. I don't know why he's left it. It was well in the court. What is he doing? He's all over the place at the moment, Dimitrov. That was just bizarre, and I've seen that a few times. I don't know if you saw Tiafoe actually against Zverev as well. Another time he basically just left the ball thinking it was going long. That one, even more bizarrely, Dimitrov has left that ball when coming up to the net, immediately realised he shouldn't have, and the ball was dropped about 4 or 5 foot inside the baseline for Zverev to break to love. I would say, Gibbley, that any language is acceptable in that scenario, because I have no idea. Jeezy peeps, that's a saying that we say here in Scotland recently due to a footballing quirk. And that one for me was a Jeezy peeps moment. Jeezy peeps.
Yeah, don't worry about your language, Gibbley. I've been scolded on this show many times for swearing when I shouldn't. So
for
don't worry about it.
For cursing out Gladly, that's not something that's ailed me yet, but I'm sure my emotion will get the better of me at one point.
I've learned that when I'm very invested in the match and I'm doing a stream, I just have to mute myself when I'm not talking.
Yeah. But and so people will just be able to see the the lip service that you provide with regards to cussing somebody out.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we don't have many lip readers when they're watching your streams. Then, Isabelle, for the easily offended, I'm not one who can be easily offended.
Well, I don't want the the channel to get bleeped or whatever,
taken off air.
Whatever happens, just because I have a loud mouth.
Yeah. I feel you. It's a fairly comfortable service game this time. He just served an ace, Zverev. He's 3 points away from going, or he's got 3 points to go, 5-4 in front. Another good serve down the tee. Block return by Zverev, gets the ball back in play. Slice backhand. Zverev goes for the big backhand this time. He's found the net. It's 5-4 Zverev, precisely the scenario that I mentioned not long ago. He's a game away from 2 sets up, which to me would be a long way back, of course, for Dimitrov. But he's been a break up in this one. Is he going to be able to get over this one out of his head? I mean, come on. I know that you're having a quick munch, which is allowed, Isabelle, of course. But without you catching you with your mouth full, just give us your thoughts on that moment a minute ago where Dimitrov, left that ball miles from the baseline.
I mean, he just made the wrong split to second decision. I mean, I don't know that there's much he can do at this point. He had a chance, and he clearly just didn't capitalize on it when he should have. He should have been more aggressive after he got that break, and didn't. Just made a couple of wrong choices, and now he's gonna probably lose this set.
Yeah, well, we're writing him off, and I'm sure he'll be sitting down at the changeover, having a word for him. Yeah, good call. Matthews makes a very good point. Something we were chatting about earlier on was Dimitrov's career. Has it fulfilled the potential when he retires, which is hopefully a good few years away from now. He's only 31, I suppose. The player's
only 31.
Yes.
I feel oh my god! I thought he was Nadal's age because I feel like he's been around forever.
The man is at 31. Do you know something? It was something that I had to double check on Saturday when I heard the same. So you're not the only one in the shocked camp, because it does
way closer in age to me than I thought.
Okay, you have a chance. Isabelle. Give him a DM.
He's not on my list.
Right. Okay. I was going to say slide into his DMs. As he serves, goes wide. He's just served a forehand. He looks a little bit confused as to what's just happened. He's gone wide with the first point. He's love 15 down. Sadly, for many of us, we did call that this could go this way. Ghibli telling me that Nishioka must really find something after the TSW match. What's happening in the other one? Do we know?
There's I might be a little bit behind in my score, but they're still in their first game. It's add to Echeverry right now on his serve. Oh, and he just held. So
okay. And the main one, Dimitrov, reminiscing about the start of the match, he's just all over the place. He's just hit a backhand that had no purchase on it, spinning wide. He's love 30 down, 2 points away from 2 sets down. He really needs to find something now, under a lot of pressure, and it's showing. He has just put one into the net. Let's see if we can find this. Oh, he's found it. It's a very slow serve, though. Zverev finds an angle. Dimitrov goes long with a ferocious forehand. And we have 3 set points. Going to grab just a quick break if this does finish now, Isabelle. We're hoping it doesn't. But we'll grab a quick 90-second break just to get a breather. But yeah, not going well for your man, not your man, but Grigor. This time gets a first serve in, which helps his cause because Zverev, who had a quick look at the line, has went long and wide. Didn't catch that forehand at all. Error after error after error. Too true. Ghibli, too true. It's not been a great last 10 minutes for the Bulgarian. This time, serve down the tee. Good serve down the tee. Again, very close with his angle, though. But Zverev catches the top of the net, and it goes long. Lifeline here for Dimitrov. Big game needed. Big couple of points needed. Yes, John. Again, I say this a lot, but it's one of the beauties of the game. You can nip out in the scenario in front of you. It's completely
You should have skipped
different.
the cue, John.
Yeah. See, if you hadn't waited for that 40-item lady in front of you, you would have known exactly what's going on. But Dimitrov looks to get. He's playing a little bit better, dictating the play. That ball looked out. He's calling it out. He did play the shot, mind you, but it's because he hadn't heard the call, and he saved all three. Yeah, well done, Grigor. We were writing him off just a second ago.
I have to say, Ghibli, I'm really enjoying your comments. So.
Agreed. Ghibli talks a lot of sense.
Some of them we can't put up on the screen. But I just want you to know I'm really enjoying it. And every time I'm laughing at nothing, that's probably what I'm laughing at.
Okay, good to know, because I did at one point wonder, what is she laughing at? Is she laughing at my accent and the way I say words? So no, it's Ghibli's comments. So that's a weight off. As Zverev now has another break point, a fourth one of this game, and it'll need a big serve. Come on, big first serve, Dimitrov. Let's prolong this a little bit longer, but it wasn't. Safe to say it was wide and long. Second serve now. I can see a big Zverev return coming. He mistimes it though, Zverev, which allows Dimitrov to be in control. Forehand down the court, slice forehand, return by Zverev, back down to the Zverev's forehand, a looping forehand back down the court. Zverev on the stretch, well saved, Dimitrov. He was in total control from that one. Really, it was a mistimed return by Alexander Zverev. He was all over the place in terms of his court placement. This one exciting. It seems like the other one is just as busy. With a break point for Echeverry to go 2-love up in the second set. Of course, he was a break up in the first set. As we go back, Dimitrov clinging on to this match here. Good first serve down the court. Forehand +1. He'll be angry at that one. He could have went, inside out. He went back towards Zverev, mistimed it, went long. Another fifth set point, should I say, for the German. And Ghibli was. Did you see that? Ghibli was actually on live comms. John's telling us. Obviously, it was the live comms of the match. Keeping us up to date here as we focus on Chatrier. It's a second serve set point for Zverev. This could be a momentum changer as well in the other way. If Dimitrov can break here. It's a down the tee second serve, looping forehand, drilled forehand by Dimitrov, back up, forehand to forehand, up the middle of the court. Zverev waiting for the error, you feel, and he's got it. He has got it as he punches the air. That's exactly what Zverev was waiting on. We'll take a quick break. We'll discuss the first two sets, but we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in 90 seconds.
Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Yeah, so there's who is that, Harpo?
Yes, it is.
That was a good guess. I had a 50-50 chance. Hello,
He likes
Harpo.
to join sometimes.
Hello, Harpo. Hello from Scotland. Does he? Well,
He's a bit of a fraidy cat, you know.
He must not speak Scottish.
No,
what is that? Is that John's ice cream? Producer John's ice cream. What flavour is that? Did he tell us?
I think he said it was vanilla, but it looks like there's like cake with it or something.
Oof, to love a bit. He's making me hungry. As Zverev is actually having a discussion with the match umpire about something. I'll try and see if I can catch up on Twitter as to what it is. Because, you know, 2 sets up, you don't usually see that kind of argument. I may have maybe asked to go for a break and maybe been refused. I'm not 100%. Any ideas? Did you catch it at all?
No, they went away for a commercial break here, so I don't know what was going on. But
yeah.
Oh, I see it now. Wait, I'll tune in, see.
Okay, as Isabelle tries to find out what's going on the ground from Zverev, just having a chat with the umpire in between the second set and the third set. I got a feeling that it was to do with he's asked to go for a toilet break and has been refused. He probably didn't ask for it straight away and has basically been refused. But I'll check Twitter to find out exactly what happened there, and maybe John can let us know. The second set, the third set starts. Dimitrov wins the first point. It goes without saying it's the most obvious thing that he needs to make a fairly fast start on this one again. I've seen a few people on Twitter telling us that that was pretty shocking imploding by Dimitrov. Would you agree with that one, Isabelle?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I agree as well, and it's a disappointing one, especially for all the the majority of people on tonight who are in the Dimitrov camp. What's Giblet saying? Is he still updating us on what's happening with?
No, not yet. He might be at the Echeverry match, which is 3-love in the second set to Echeverry. So he
got the break
on a run right now. So
he's
watching.
Yeah, there's Ghost. Ghost is like, hello, Ghost. I've not seen you as much tonight. Of course, Dimitrov had points to go double break up. Effectively, what I said at the time was, it was effectively a set point because he would have two bangs at finishing off the set. But it wasn't to be. But he has 3 break points here. And as Dimitrov goes long with the first one, goes wide, I should say. But he has a chance to get the early break. And you just wonder, is Grigor, here's a question, is Grigor the type of guy who needs to have 2 breaks just to confirm, just to guarantee that he's going to win a set?
That might be an unfortunate yes.
Yes. So I'll try and see if I can find some tweets from from Twitter, obviously, but I'm just trying to see if Grigor can break. He's lost the second break point. I'll maybe catch up with that once we've got a break in play. Zverev, good first serve, strong, but he's just got over the net. There was an apology there. He saved his third break point. It was a decent return by Dimitrov right at Zverev, who was coming in for the serve volley. It was at the feet of him. He caught. It's actually a really good volley, but it catches the top of the net again. A bit of luck to that one now, and he saves his third break point, and that's just been the tail of the tape. I'm afraid Dimitrov has only really been able to take his chance once, and as we predicted, Zverev saved a lot of break points to stop it going 4-2 to Dimitrov. 5-2 to Dimitrov, and then won the next 3 games to take the second set. And it's a long way back for the Bulgarian. Advantage, as you can see, another strong first serve. He goes up the line with a backhand, scrambling return by Dimitrov. This time a sliced backhand by Dimitrov, which only can go long. It's looking like he's going to be struggling here. To be fair, I'm not sure if it's choking or just not being that good. Gibbley, if I may then, did you watch him against Altmaier? Did you maybe think that Altmaier was just, the Sinner match had taken a lot out of him, and that's why maybe Dimitrov just looked better than he was playing? I wonder your thoughts on that, Gibbley. Maybe it was that Altmaier was spent, as they say. Another chance wasted there by Dimitrov, and maybe I got ahead of myself and just thought that Dimitrov was playing some real good tennis, and actually it was more Altmaier. Sorry.
Oh my God.
What's happened there?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Just had the first opportunity. That's the guy for scream phoning you right now.
No, I'm sorry. A squirrel just ran into the window. A squirrel just straight up head butted into the window, and it made a loud noise. I'm sorry.
Actually, what I think's happened is see that phone call. That is the guy with the scream mask on phoning you. Not to give you the frights.
My heart's beating so fast. That was so scary.
I do hope producer John has cut that one. Talking tennis history, always being made on this channel. So yeah.
If I knew that was going to happen, I would have muted myself. But
well, of course. Otherwise, how would you know that was going to happen?
He straight up just slammed his head into the window and then fell to the ground. I don't even know how that
swirling drama.
What's going on in the match?
Jesus Christ, I'm lost. I don't even care about the match. I want to know, did the squirrel survive
I don't know.
the crash? Are you going to have to?
I don't even know how he did that. The window is above the ground. I don't know how he ran into the window.
Well, things that you certainly didn't have on my bingo card tonight. Was talking about, possibly now deceased squirrels trying to attack Isabelle. I'll be honest, I thought it was only birds that flew into windows.
Apparently not.
Yes, you don't get this channel. Imagine they did that in the tennis channel. They had the back bit where all the people standing behind it, and then just boom, squirrel runs into it, and yeah. Wow. Anyway, Zverev has 3 break points here, and the writing is pretty much on the wall for Dimitrov, I'm afraid, guys. I can see maybe Gibbley has chucked it as he threatened to, because of the disappointment. Dimitrov's just hit the net with a forehand, the top of the net. It's went long. From having 3 break points in the Zverev service game, he's now a breakdown, I'm afraid. Dimitrov fans, as Damien, our good friend Damien, the what's he been saying? The first set between Echeverry and Nishioka was pretty amazing. So many excellent rallies. The Argentinian has to be so solid with his backhand and these cross-court exchanges to finally get an opportunity to use the hammer forehand. And best he's seen Nishioka play on clay, and he's down a set. Interesting question I've got for you. I think we might have touched on it in the last chat we had last week, Isabelle, but I saw a poll on Twitter today about the favourite surface, and clay was winning it. Was that was similar to your thoughts, wasn't it? Did you say that clay was your favourite?
It's not my favorite, no.
Right, okay.
But it sounds like it's a lot of players' favorites.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think the Brits will obviously be saying, Wimbledon grass will be their favourite. Of course, Andy Murray won today. Yay. A grass court event. So clay was winning, yes. I mean, I don't know. I can't, sometimes you'd, knowing that I'm going to be doing a tennis stream tonight and possibly talking about tennis, should maybe make a note in my head exactly where the tweet was or who it was from. I'd like to say it was maybe the tennis podcast. I might be incorrect. I'm not sure. Somebody who was following, scrubbing through on my lunch. And, I just thought it was an interesting poll. I think, though, clay was winning. Yeah, clay was winning in terms of, I don't know, excitement in matches. Yes, it was. Yes, it was Andy Murray's win today. Quang, was it Quang? Quang. Let me. Chung, South Korean boy. He went at Subertrong, Hyung Chung. And yeah, so well played, Andy. Obviously a big Andy fan over here. Just half an hour away from the town of his birth. So yes, 6-3, 6-2 at Subertron, and he's yet to have his next round opponent confirmed. As we go back to this one, Dimitrov, 3 more break points. Is this a way back in for the Bulgarian? It seems to be some clutch serving by Zverev, though a wide serve on the stretch return by Dimitrov, and as he's done quite a few times already, even in this set, it's put away by Zverev. 1 of 6 saved. I'm going to try and see how many break points Dimitrov has not converted, because it cannot be a good look. Any ideas? His breakpoint conversion rate?
No, God, I'm not the person to go to for stats.
Okay, it's pretty grim reading for Dimitrov fans.
That doesn't surprise me.
He's got 8%, so that is 1 in 13. And I don't even know if that stat has picked up the one that he's just lost again by some clutch serving by Zverev, and he puts Dimitrov away. One last chance again. Surely it's now or never for the Bulgarian. If he doesn't see this one out, I don't see him coming back. The guy that I'd predicted to win it in 4, of course, out the window. I think you had went for Zverev through gritted teeth, Isabelle. So they remain gritted as Zverev. Second serve this time. A good return, forehand return by Dimitrov. He's went for the winner. He's got it. Has he got it? He's got it. He's broken serve. It's a forehand winner on the run, up the court, up the line. No, he hasn't. I've just given him the big talk, and it was long. So that's how difficult it is for us who are watching it with no commentary and those close calls. So it's back to just 3 further break points, failure conversions by Dimitrov. Zverev now. Good serve into the net by Dimitrov. He was about to smash that racket. Not a happy bunny at the moment. It's pretty much all over here for me anyway. And yeah, are we still talking about shopping, groceries? What's Max talking about? I'm just catching up as I focused on the events on the clay court of the Philippe Chatrier second serve.
I was looking at the Echeverry match stats. Ugh, I feel bad. I feel so bad for Nishioka right now.
Yeah, it's been another bagel. Has it just been me, or has there been a lot of 6-love bagel sets in this tournament?
It's been a lot. I mean, most of them are at the hand of Iga.
Yeah.
But there've been a few on the men's side as well.
I know Alcaraz had one. So Lorenzo Sonego had one to go 2 sets to down to Rublev, and then won the next 3. So it's it's been bizarre. It's been an eventful, memorable for me anyway. French Open in terms of the most 5-setters in the first round. All these bagels. You've had walkovers, withdrawals. You've had Alcaraz, Djokovic looking good. It's all set up for a titanic semi-final. Obviously, still to get through the respective next round opponents, of course. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking like we're seeing a little glimpse as to what life can be like. Sadly, after Rafa, in terms of the other players emerging. So it's been a memorable one as this match continues. Still with the Zverev service game, saved further break points. Pick up by Dimitrov. He goes up the line with a forehand. It's in this time. Zverev gets it. Dimitrov comes to the net, puts it away. Zverev can only net. He's got another break point, as I've stressed a few times already in this game. The Bulgarian needs to break serve here, not just to get back into this set, but just to get a little bit of momentum back. What is going on with Nishioka? Can anyone inform us? Damien had just been mentioning it was the best he'd seen Nishioka playing in that first set. What has happened? Has there been an injury? Is there something? Ghibli, who has usually been updating us, I think he's away to have a beer after Dimitrov lost that set. Zverev saves another break point with again some big serving that Dimitrov can only block return, and as Zverev approaches the net, he just calmly puts it away. Fitness, not being a concern for either of these players. If Dimitrov can somehow find a way to win in this third set, fitness could come into it. In terms of, I did feel as if as we were approaching that 4-set against Tiafoe, that Zverev looked a little bit out of puff. So I wonder if that's maybe something that could be happening in this match. I don't know, Isabelle, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm not really sure.
He's got a good point anyway, Zverev, so it's looking ever more unlikely that we're going to go to a fourth.
Yeah, I heard, I think it was on Roland Garros radio today, they were talking about maybe while Zverev was injured, he was able to work on his fitness more and really focus on technical parts of his game that he couldn't really focus on before, but since he couldn't play, he could really hone in on them now. So they were talking about that on the radio. That could be why he's destroying Dimitrov right now. He's had time to work on his fitness, but it also seems like Dimitrov has made a lot of easy mistakes, especially in the second set.
Well, I mean, it's funny because, I'd said to myself, Zverev hasn't really played much 5-set tennis since that injury. Of course, missed the 2 slams after the French Open last year. He wasn't at Wimbledon, wasn't at the US. Played 2 matches at the Australian Open, losing in the round of 64. So I'm thinking to myself, coming into this one, in terms of stamina, in terms of fitness, there's not really been any 5-set tennis in 12 months. And I'm thinking, will that play a factor? But, that could be the same for anyone. You go so long, you go from January, February to May without playing 5-set tennis. I know that these players will be working off court to get their body ready for this kind of endurance test. So maybe it won't be a factor. But as many, it's been said many times already, he's not really been pushed at all in this tournament. Sadly for people who maybe don't want him in the event anymore. He's had a fairly decent draw, and it all comes down for me to a kick up the bum maybe for him when Medvedev goes out so early, and then even Medvedev conqueror, Thiago Wild, basically going out as well. He could have posed a danger. It hasn't come to fruition. So he can see that route to the semi-finals.
Who do you think, because he'll play the winner of the Rude match, who do you think out of that match has the best chance of beating him?
Good question. I would say Runa. Strangely enough, I just think Casper. I think Casper. I think they're 1-1 in clay. I might be wrong, but I'm sure Madrid. Zverev won last year in Madrid. I think Casper got revenge somewhere along the line in the European clay court. I'll need to look at that. As we're on court at the moment, but it's a good question. I'd say I win the Casper Holger Runa match, right? I can't call it, but Casper wins, Zverev wins that match, Runa wins that in 4. I think that's me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I would probably agree with that. But Casper has consistently surprised me ever since last year's French Open. Or was it 2 years ago that he was in the final? Was it?
No, it was last year. No, it was last year. Yeah.
He has continued to surprise me because I was in the camp of like, oh, this was just a one-time thing for Casper. Like he was brand new to the scene. Like, I don't see him going far. And then the US Open, he just cruised all the way to that final. And until I think he played Khachanov. Was it Khachanov he played? That was
Yep.
I think it was Khachanov in that semifinal. It was really good. And he really showed a lot of grit. So he's really surprised me in his ability to like dig deep and really win those tough matches. So if he ended up winning against Rune and played Zverev, I would probably give the edge to Zverev, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went 5 because I think Casper can dig a little deeper and he's been in more tough situations than Zverev has.
Yeah. And
so,
well, I don't know where I've made that Zverev and Casper Ruud have met on clay. I'd even commented that there was 2 matches. So I totally made that up because they've only met on the hard surface, the hard courts. Zverev 3-1 record over Casper Ruud. And they've all been on hard court, but Casper Ruud did win the last meeting, which was a year ago in Miami on the hard court. So Zverev's got the edge, but it's all been in hard court. And just to mention Ghost, yes, that's that I was just about to pull that comment up. I think it does. I think it does. If and again, I said earlier on, we've got no way to prove this, and this is just an allegation. Is Runa really that injured? Is he? Is he tanking first? Is he tanking the 4th set? As I've heard, he obviously looks bent. But how can this guy? Probably if it goes to 5 sets, if Runa will have the game plan for me, Runa will have the game plan as anyone would, I suppose, but. Runa will have the game plan of finishing the match as quickly as possible, okay? And he's got the ability to do that to most players in the world, okay? But yeah, I agree. When it goes to 4th or 5th set match, I think the odds, the odds get better for whoever Runa's playing. But yeah, it's just got to be a question of, he seems to come through these, I mentioned earlier on, against Casper Ruud. Was it at Madrid? They played in the semi-final, or was it?
I don't remember.
Was it Rome? I think it was Rome. They played in the semi-final. Casper Ruud was absolutely dominating that match. He was a break-up in the 2nd set, having won the 1st. Holger Rune basically then has a medical timeout, complaining about a shoulder. Now, these guys obviously have the magic touch, these physios. But comes back and starts swinging that said arm better than he has all match. And is that, you mentioned earlier on, Isabelle, about players have done it for generations, trying to put off the other player's momentum. By all accounts, today, Holger Rune tanked that 4th set. Now, this isn't me saying that. This is, the Twitterati mentioning that he was saving himself for that fifth set. And you can see by the result, 6-1 in the fourth to take it 7-5. 7-6 and a 10-point. And producer John, who was commentating at the time, it was the way he was going about business, walking quickly between points, hardly having a swing at the ball, hitting it into the net, hitting it long, hitting it wide, whatever. You could sometimes tell when a player's tanking it, and John will have good reason, and others will have good reason for saying that. So, good question, Ghost, and good debate, good talking point. But yeah, it's just I agree. I think when it goes to 4 and 5, Runa will struggle in the longer matches. But I think he does have the ability to finish these matches in 3 against anyone, really. So anyway, still a young boy, and that's the question. Should a guy at that age, you look at Alcaraz, should a guy at that age, Holger Rune as a young lad, should he have the fitness and the strength and the cardio to go these 5 sets already? Or is his body still, maturing? So exactly 3 hours 59 it was today.
Yeah.
So what was going on in that fifth, or in that fourth? Apologies. As back to what we've got at the moment, Dimitrov managed to get back on the board. So he is 1-3. He's 15-30, as you can see by the scoreboard. But it looks like Nishioka. What is going on, Ghibli? Tell us what has been happening in that other match.
So happy to have you back.
Echeverry won a tight tie break, and then has won the next 9 games. And there's got to be an injury or something, surely.
I was looking at the second set stats, which is rare for me, but well,
I like that.
It seemed like Echeverry was just serving way better on his first serve. He had 75% on his first serve versus 60% for Nishioka. So it seems like he was just serving really well, and Nishioka just couldn't return well. But yeah, his stats are just so much better than Nishioka's. It's a real shame.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that he would be injured after such a tiebreak. Like this has to be something like mental. I mean, he can't have gotten injured during that tiebreak, right? I mean, there's no way.
I think Ghibli makes the point that that the legs maybe have been taken away a little bit against in the last round against his Brazilian opponent. As can often be the way. It's a marathon, these events. And that's just so obvious why the top players always want to try and get the early rounds done quickly as possible, because it takes 2 days, maybe isn't a long time to come back from a 4-hour match. So maybe that's had a bit to play in it.
Who has Echeverry played in so far in this tournament?
Let me tell you now. I will pull the details up.
He... I'm looking at it. He's had a very easy draw, it seems. He had a walkover in the first round, and it's just been straight sets since against Koric and Diminar. So
interesting, about the walkover, because of course Holger Rune got a walkover. And just to mention, obviously, back to the tennis match, Grigor Dimitrov has just broken serve. So finally putting away one of those break points, only his second break of the match. And this one might not quite be over yet, guys. He eventually puts away a break point number 16 in the match, and he's put away 2 of them. It's a pretty poor return for a professional tennis player to 13% of the break points he's managed to carve open, he's managed to put away. But of course, just going back to Ghost's earlier point, and maybe that's something I didn't take into consideration regarding Holger Rune, is he didn't even play in round 2. In round 3, sorry, he was given a walkover. So he should have been fresh and fit and raring to go. So yeah, a little added point to the is Holger Runa at it debate. Are you laughing at something Ghibli says?
Oh yeah, there's just great comments
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, good. You put my mind at ease, as I said, when you just laugh out of nowhere, and I can now tell it's to a Ghibli. So Dimitrov serving to tie up the third set, should I say? Really needs this one. A good first serve down the tee, and he goes for a drop shot. Lovely. He'd pushed Zverev back and towards the other side of the court, and he just puts a delicate little drop shot over the net. Good start for this one. Seems to have stopped the rot a little bit. Maybe it's now Zverev has to think of a different attack plan. Is that Elvis we're now rolling out in the comments?
Yes.
But Ghibli has now put a stop to them. So as Dimitrov double faults to level up this game 15-all. I think that's his fifth double fault, is it? With two of them. Yep, fifth double fault, although it's 5-all in terms of double faults. But remember, 3 of them came in the first couple of games for the Bulgarian. So it's been a while. As he serves, no, he's not served an ace. Thought that one looked in. He seems to be fairly confident it was out. Pity there's no challenges. As a sliced second serve back by Zverev. Pair exchange forehands, and now it's a sliced backhand by Dimitrov, a sliced backhand return by Zverev. But great winner. Cross-court forehand shot, one of the shots of the match. It's getting windy down there, but he has cooked up a storm with that one. His sliced backhand return by Zverev, and yeah, great cross-court forehand, whipped forehand, lots of top spin, great shot. There's a bit of an Elvis debate. We've had squirrels, we've had Elvis. What's going on?
Well, we needed, I think the squirrel happened because this match was not dramatic enough, and we needed something.
Do you think he was maybe spying and saying Isabelle don't look animated enough? She's not enjoying this.
I don't know I still don't know what was happening with that squirrel. I hope he's okay. I think John is probably gonna clip that of me and put it out.
Because I wonder, I don't even remember what my reaction was if I basically was like, what the is
yeah, you were just
there?
Like, what is happening? Are you okay?
As Dimitrov gets game point 40-30, serving well. He is I came back and I must have missed the music talk. We were talking about I think producer John had mentioned that Dimitrov was to come back in this one. It would be a bigger comeback since Elvis. And yeah, that's how we got into a couple of Elvis references as the players share forehands. Cross-court Dimitrov, backhand cross-court Zverev, slice backhand Dimitrov. It looked long, it wasn't long. Back on forehand return by Zverev, backhand Dimitrov, again, slice backhand. He's favouring that. He's went for the backhand drop shot. It's perfect. It got the crowd on their feet. A fist pump for the Bulgarian. He's levelled up the third set. What a droppy indeed, Grigor. Lovely stuff by Grigor Dimitrov. Thoughts on that, Isabelle?
I want to see more of that from him.
Are you a little behind?
I'm a little behind, but
okay.
but I definitely do want to see more of it. Just got to that drop shot. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, perfect shot at the perfect time, just when it was needed. We're at 3-all. Has the momentum shift, and this one's shifted, sorry, should I say, has Zverev, is he going to find a way back into this lead that he had? We shall see as he serves up for 3-all. What did you have for your munch then, Isabelle? I hope it wasn't that squirrel.
I still have some pasta sitting here that I will finish later.
Good on you.
The squirrel made me lose my appetite.
As would happen, as can happen. So yeah, I think it was the other way around. I mean, I profess not to know a whole load about music, but I'm sure it was the Marvin Gaye family had sued Sheeran. I'm sure Sheeran's been sued quite a lot.
It wasn't Marvin Gaye's family. It was the co-writer. It was his family. So whoever co-wrote with Marvin Gaye.
And what song was it?
It was "Let's Get It On," I think.
Right.
But they lost, and Ed Sheeran won.
Oh, there we go.
But like, as speaking as a musician, rightfully so. He presented a really good case.
Okay.
So
did you follow the case quite closely then?
I did, just because that kind of songs like that being challenged in court do kind of interest me. And I don't want anyone to say that I'm an Ed Sheeran fan, because I'm not. But I do think he had a very good case and rightfully won. So
okay. Well, there you go.
That's
Isabelle has spoken. Talking Tennis's new copyright expert, music copyright expert, in terms of good case. Well done, Ed. Back on the tennis, Grigor Dimitrov goes long with a forehand makeable shot as well. So where are we then in terms of this match? What's your thoughts? Has Grigor stepped it up? Has Zverev lost it a little bit? What's been happening over the last, say, 15-20 minutes, Isabelle?
He's doing a little better. I mean, at least he held in the last game. But he's still, that ball just went long. I mean, he's still making a lot of unforced errors, and it's just, this would be a huge hill,
Yeah, and another one, certainly where I am, competitive rally, both players trying to find, the dominant shot, but it wasn't even anywhere near that from Zverev as Dimitrov smacked the net. Just been too many unforced errors for me from the Bulgarian tonight, and not taking his chances. He's had so many break points, as mentioned, has failed to see it out, and Zverev does the opposite. He sees that one out. A strong first serve down the tee, unreturnable from Dimitrov. It is 4-3, and I don't want to sign his death warrant like I did in set 2, but a break of serve here, and it's potentially curtains for the likeable Bulgarian, and he'll go away, and he'll be hurting at this one, and Zverev will be thinking, he's managed to get out of there. Not many scars, not many battle scars, and he'll be ready for whoever, likely Etcheverry. In fact, will be Etcheverry. I didn't know it's 5 now. Why did nobody update me on this?
Like, what else is new? I would have updated you if Nishioka had won a game.
There's something going on, surely.
Yeah.
I mean, if there'll be an injury, I'm sure it'll be discussed at length by the guys on the last ball drops.
Yeah.
Such a collapse is very rare in tennis, isn't it? 6-love. I mean, I think the crowd on Lengland will be, cheering for him just to get a game on the scoreboard before he exits this tournament.
Yeah.
But Etcheverry, dangerous player for Zverev, do you think?
Pardon? What was that?
Thomas Etcheverry, this is out to Isabelle and to anyone else. As it would be looking likely if it's an Etcheverry Zverev quarterfinal. Can Etcheverry cause Zverev problems?
I don't know. I don't know his style very well. He's quite a new, like a breakout player, isn't of this tournament?
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty emerging. I mean, the first I really became aware of him, we actually played Andy Murray at one of the clay events, or might have been in Miami. I can never remember events. I need to get better at that, because I don't know where I'm going to go with the chat, but he definitely played Andy Murray, and it went to 3 sets, and he probably should have won in the 3rd set. And yeah, sorry, I got a little bit distracted by Ghost Again, coming from my
Yeah.
accent, which I don't mind. I like that. But yeah, apparently I sound like I'm saying disgusted lengths, but disgust at length. As
I heard you
Zverev,
perfectly, so you're fine.
thank you, Isabelle. As Zverev gets the first point of the Dimitrov, it was actually quite an exciting point. Zverev came to the net, had put the ball deep into the court. Dimitrov tried the lob, and Zverev managed to run round and get it. Love 15. We'll focus on this game because it could be an important one here. As second serve, Dimitrov down the body, returned, but he's chucking it here a little bit. It was a return by Zverev. It only just made it over the net. A sliced backhand attempt by Dimitrov, but it was meek. It was weak, and it found the net. And he's love 30 down. Unfortunately for yourself, myself, and for everybody watching and supporting Grigor Dimitrov, it seems I'm calling this game subconsciously. I said that if he didn't win that 2-4-2, that Zverev would come back. He did, and he's just went long with that backhand. It's love 40, 3 break points. This will be potentially 3 match points if because Zverev will be a service game away. Not to say that it's written, but we could be ending, and I'm going to go back brilliantly to the Ghibli Avengers reference earlier on, but we could be entering the end game here of this match. So is that Nishioka got a game?
Yeah, he did. He finally got a game. But I thank you to someone in the comments for saying Nishioka had a groin issue and called the trainer at 3-love down in the third set.
Yeah, that was Matthew.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Matthew. So that might explain a lot. I mean, it still doesn't explain.
Yeah.
Well, it does. I suppose I was going to say it doesn't explain what happened in set 2, but I suppose that is what was happening in set 2. So that explains it. Is Nishioka breaking serve here? Is he about to break?
Let's see.
Grigor Dimitrov fighting back in his game, 30-40. He just served a pretty decent serve out wide, and a cross-court return by Zverev is put away nicely. Did we get to 20 likes? You tell me, producer John. I don't think we did. I didn't even know we'd gotten to 10. I've been trying to keep up with all the action as we sit. Zverev break point. He'll be a game away if he sees it out. Second serve, double fault at the worst time for Dimitrov. He starts the match as he looks to have ended his chances. It's a double fault. He walks quickly to his towel. We're on 16 likes. Give us another couple of likes if you're watching. Give us some love. We might not be long for this match. Dimitrov has one last chance to salvage anything. It's been a bad one for Dimitrov. He hasn't hit the heights of the Altmaier match. I never get his name right. I always say Altmaier, and it's Altmaier, and I know it is. But anyway, maybe that says a lot about. Maybe I saw that Altmaier maybe wasn't up to it after his marathon match against Sinner, over 5 hours. That one, the longest match of the tournament so far. So we will see Zverev now lining up, serving for the match, and let's see how Dimitrov does here.
Thanks for putting up that picture, John.
Oh, is that squirrel? That's the squirrel. Love it. Love it. Producer John working all his magic in double quick time. Hopefully that'll be in the end of year. Talking tennis awards, what presenter was attacked by an animal or whilst live on there? Nishioka 2 break points, I see.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Well, hopefully after this match is done in a minute, Tennis Channel will switch over and I'll be able to see the end. If this other match doesn't end very quickly. You never know.
Yeah. Well, it's been another netball by Dimitrov, unfortunately, and he is 3 points from defeat. And so, yes, here we go. Dimitrov looking a little bit lost here. Zverev, he's been serving not bad, definitely better than his opponent. Good return by Dimitrov. I have written this man's obituary in this match. It's a good return by Dimitrov and a good second shot, but just as I was about to say, he's well in this rally. A wild snap hook shot. It's 30 love. Yeah, get spreading the word. The more people get like and subscribing to the Talking Tennis channel, the more we can get more in-depth talk about Elvis and what's going on court. Elvis, squirrels. Where else do we go tonight?
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran court cases. The musical Hamilton. It's been quite a musical themed evening. But it's been another enjoyable one. I'm speaking as if we're closing out. You know, Dimitrov came out the comeback of all comebacks. Elvis, cool. Lazarus, like Phoenix, like from the ashes of the red clay court of Paris. But yes, let's start writing a tennis-themed musical. I agree, Max.
If you're looking for good tennis like media apart from this, there's a really good anime called Prince of Tennis.
Prince of Tennis, interesting. Yeah. I like it. I like something a little bit different.
It's pretty good. If anyone out there likes anime, Prince of Tennis is great.
2 match points for Sascha Zverev to get himself into the quarterfinals of the French Open, and he serves down the tee. Block return wide by Dimitrov. We are finished on Chatrier. It's a straight sets victory. Poor performance, I've got to say, by Dimitrov. You know, all about opinions, but he just did not come to the party. Zverev again has not been pushed to get himself into the quarterfinals. He is at the quarterfinal stage for the third time, is it? I'm just trying to see here.
I'm not sure.
He's aiming to reach his 9th Grand Slam quarterfinal, and his 5th time at Roland Garros. His 5th in 6 years, of course. His favourite slam. He loves the red ash, the clay courts. Dimitrov walks off and thanks the crowd for their support. Can you wrap up that one? You know, what you watched, what you managed to catch up on, Isabelle. You know, I know you were wanting Dimitrov to come through in that one. Ghibli, of course, as well. Many people did. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, he just didn't show up today. I mean, he could have given him a bit of a harder fight, but he just, I don't know what's up with him. Didn't like you said, like didn't push him, didn't challenge him at all. So it's just another cruise for Zverev, but I'm hoping in his quarterfinal, he'll play Etcheverry. Is that right?
Yeah, well, it's looking like it, obviously.
It's looking like it.
I mean, it seemed like we were on 5-1 in that game. That looks like that one's been about a 10-minute game.
They've been trading ads for a bit, so we'll see. But more than likely to be Etcheverry. Etcheverry's had a very I don't think he's dropped a set yet this tournament, so that could be an interesting match.
Who do we have on tonight, John? I think it might be is it Nick and Damien, or just trying to have a quick check to see who's on the last ball. It's Nick and Miles. Oh, definitely going to be watching that one tonight. That'll be a really, really fun one. And so, guys, we will finish up. Ghost, thank you very much. Right at the end, nipping in there, £2. Spread the word as always. The more of you guys join in, the more we can grow this community. And that might not be finished just yet, Etcheverry, Nishioka, with another break point. But we will bow out so that the Nick and Miles can get ready for their turn, which I'm sure won't be too long. Thanks very much for everyone. Isabelle, thanks. Great chat as always. Stay safe. Don't let any more squirrels. I would go and check on that squirrel. Make sure
I might.
it's all right. But stay safe. Don't let any more wildlife attack you tonight. Tom Grant Journal, give us a follow if you can, guys. Isabelle, you're on Twitter as well, Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, I am. My Twitter is at the tennis slut. It is listed on my name here, so
interesting handle. Interesting handle. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us, guys. We're going to end it there. Thanks Gibley, thanks Ghost, thanks KC, thanks Max, thanks Sport and Politics. Anyone I missed, I'm sure I have. Matthew, good chat. Thanks very much, guys. All right, take care.
Bye.